sur Sak Pase St Lucie, nom c'est Maggie Rémy. Et jeudi, on a studio ensemble avec nous, moi, j'ai deux invités qui sortent dans St Lucie County en Public Schools qui pourraient parler nous de un programme qui est le VPK. En créole, nous relève ça VPK, Pwogram Prekindergarten pour tout le monde aller dans le jardin d'enfants. Ensemble avec nous aujourd'hui, nous avons Madame Cassandra Dillard, qui est spécialiste dans le programme VPK. Et puis nous avons Madame Crosby, lui-même, qui est une spécialiste dans le support institutionnel pour tout le monde dans le programme VPK, Pwogram Tit I, dans St Lucie County Public Schools. Good morning, Ms. Crosby, and welcome to Sak Pase St Lucie.
Thank you very much.
And good morning, Cassie.
Good morning.
And thank you for coming to the show and tell us about VPK.
Thank you for having us.
I'm going to start with you, Ms. Crosby. Tell us a little bit about the VPK program.
The VPK program is a free pre-kindergarten program for all 4-year-olds that reside in the state of Florida. And the school year program is typically a 540-hour program in which children will usually go to a 3-hour-a-day program. In the public schools, however, we have additional funding from Title I, which allows us to have a full-day program in our VPK program.
And Ms. Cassie, what is the first thing a parent would need to do if they would like to register their children for the VPK program?
Okay. Registration for VPK for the 16-17 school year is now open. It actually began on January 1st. The first thing they would need to do is make sure they have an email address and their child's birth certificate and a proof of residence. And they'll go online to the Office of Early Learning's website at familyservices.floridaearlylearning.com. And that's where they're going to apply for their VPK certificate. And that certificate will allow them to register for a VPK program, whether it's in the public schools, our VPK Title I program, or at a private provider preschool that offers VPK, or at a Head Start program that offers VPK.
So, if I'm for a parent, probably watching the show, I'm going to do some interpretation in Creole. So the registration is done online.
It is.
Okay.
Everything starts online.
Yeah, these days, this is how things are.
Yes.
Okay. Everything is done online. Okay. Comme nous entendons, Madame Karen qui se fait une introduction de sa VPK programme que nous connaissons, qui déjà quitté en existence dans l'État Floride là, et pour Timoun l'âge de 4 ans et on a fait de 540 heures de temps le programme que Timoun a fait. Et Jean Madame Cassé lui-même se dit si un parent a besoin d'enregistrer pour une petite ligne dans l'école pour le programme VPK, c'est un programme qui fait dans internet. Alors si on monde peut-être pas ta gain accès à internet, ou t'as supposé peut-être chercher un monde qui est capable d'aider pour capable faire application. Il y a une série de sites que nous capable aller dans l'école là, n'a pour qui côté petit monde capable d'appliquer. Il y a une série de identification tout que parent t'a supposé gagner, le lab venir pour l'enregistrer petit monde là pour capable aller dans VPK. Okay. What can a parent do if they don't have a computer, a scanner, or access to the internet, Ms. Cassie?
Okay. The Early Learning Coalition has a few computers and scanners set up where they can go there and complete the first part of the process of registering for their certificate. The Early Learning Coalition is 4204 Okeechobee Road, which is actually the same building as the school board, but on the other end of that mall building, they would go in either entrance 2 or entrance 5, and when they go in those entrances, they would see the Early Learning Coalition. They would want to make sure to bring the birth certificate and their proof of address when they go there so that they can complete the whole process.
Okay. Comme Madame Cassiso dit, si que on pas ta gain accès à internet ou bien pas ta gain un scanner là ou bien que ou pas capable connait qui ça pour faire ou capable aller dans Early Learning Coalition qui dans 4204 dans Okeechobee Road, c'est dans même building côté school board là dans entrance 1 ou bien dans entrance 5 vini avec acte de naissance timoun nan pour capable gagner une identification de timoun nan ou moun en dans Early Learning Coalition après do remplir application si ou t'as besoin petit tout rentrer dans programme VPK que on va commencer très prochainement là. Once a parent makes a registration or appointment, what should be the next step?
Okay. Well, once they register for the VPK certificate, they'll have to check back to their email to see once it's approved. And once it's approved, they would need to print it. So again, if they didn't have access to print it, they could go back to the Early Learning Coalition and print it. Then they would also need to make an appointment. At the same time they register for the certificate, if they're wanting to register for the public schools program, they need to go on to step 2, which is on our flyer, and make an appointment to come in for registration. We're currently making appointments for February 11th, 12th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. So it's really 11th, 12th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. So it's really imperative that they do this now. As soon as they see this, go do it, because after February 18th, we may not have any more registration. If we fill all of our seats, we wouldn't have any more registration beyond then. So it's really, really important to do it now.
Okay. Would you like to add something, Ms. Karen?
Just the importance of going ahead and following the process. We like to get our children in early and fill up those seats in the first round.
I know at the beginning of the show we were talking in terms of certain parents either who don't speak the language, either they don't speak English, or would there be people there that either speak Creole that can help them in terms of filling out the application online, or?
Actually, when they go online, they're able to, at the top left corner of the state's website, they can change the language, but also there are people. And at our registration in February, we will also have Creole people on hand to help.
Okay. Comme Madame Cassiso dit, processus supposé commencer kounya. Si que un parent a besoin pour petit ou participer dans le programme VPK, c'est kounya pour capable aller commencer processus là. Parce que registration pour tout le monde rentrer dans le programme VPK pour commencer le 11, 12, 16, 17 avec 18 février. Je vais répéter encore. Procès pour tout le monde participer dans le programme VPK pour commencer le 11 février, 12, 16, 17 avec 18 février. Donc, si que un parent a besoin de petit participer dans le programme VPK, c'est kounya pour être capable d'aller dans le Learning Coalition, commencer procès, faire l'application. Si que mon n'a pas parlé anglais, les rentrer dans internet là, gon côté ou capable changer langage là, mettez langage là dans langue qu'on préféré, qu'on sent plus confortable, qu'on capable écrire ou bien ou capable comprendre là, pour capable commencer procès pour gagner certificat, pour capable commencer, pour capable aller enregistrer ti moun nan pour programme VPK. So what does a parent have to bring with them to the for the appointment?
Right. Once you've made your appointment, and make sure you write it down so you remember when it is, you're going to come to the school board office at 4204 Okeechobee Road with your child. And it's really important that they remember to bring their child with them, because we will do a pre-academic screener at the time when they're making out their application paperwork. So that's the first thing, is really important to do that. And also we have a lot of documentation that they will need to bring with them as well. That's on our flyer, and that's also on the website. So I'm going to go quickly over it and read it to you, what they need to bring, but if they want to remember it, make sure just go to the website and access it, and you'll see it right there. You're going to bring your certificate of eligibility, which is what Cassie talked about at the beginning, from the state of Florida. You're going to bring an original birth certificate for your child. You're going to bring a photo identification for the adult, so the parent needs to bring a photo ID. You need to bring a Social Security card if you have it. If you don't have it, that's okay, and just that's kind of optional, but if you have it, bring it. And then 2 proofs of address. You need a primary proof of address and a secondary proof of address, or 2 primaries. So the primaries would be something like a utility bill within 30 days, an official rent receipt, a mortgage lease or deed, mortgage payment coupon, again within 30 days, and a building contract that's within 6 months undated. So those would all be primary. So you could bring 2 of those, or you could bring 1 of those, and you can also bring 1 secondary, which would be a cable bill within the last 30 days, a voter registration card, a driver's license, or a cell phone bill within 30 days. So any of those.
So of the secondary, is it 1?
1 secondary.
1 secondary and 2 primary?
1 primary, 1 secondary, or you can do 2 primary.
Oh, okay. 1 primary, 1 secondary, or 2 primary.
Exactly.
Okay, great. All right. Let me just quickly go over this with them so that at least they know.
It's a lot of information.
It is a lot, so they know what they have to bring. Okay. When leur parent pour aller dans ou fin faire process là ou aller ou faire ou un certificat qui dit que ou éligible pour enregistrer ti moun nan pour programme VPK. Gon série de informations que gon série de identification tout que y a besoin dans mes parents. Pour commencer, parents supposés venir avec une photo qui identifie que c'est parents. Les supposés venir avec ti moun nan, les supposés venir avec acte de naissance ti moun nan. Li supposé venir avec carte sécurité sociale ti moun nan. Si que le gagne ou bien le pas gagne, the social security card like you said, if they do or not.
If they have one, that's
if they
fine.
do, it's okay. Okay. Si que moun nan gen social security quand même cadre là, moi ça que si ti moun nan fait ici que la gagne vini ensemble avec lui, nous besoin de preuves côté nous habiter. Un primaire ou secondaire. Ça très important pour nous entendre. Un primaire ou bien un secondaire. Primaire là, yo mandé nous supposé gagner un bill dans kailan, un bordereau électricité et reçu que nous payer caille, reçu que nous payer mortgage nous, les supposé pendant 30 jours. M'a répété là encore, nous supposé gagner une utilité, soit un bordereau de l'eau, un bordereau de lumière, un barrage qui montre que nous payons une utilité dans kailan, reçu que nous payons mortgage ou bien que nous gagnons dit kailan, papier kailan qui sous nous, sous deux parents ou bien c'est maman ou bien papa. Deuxièmement, pour secondaire là, nous supposons montrer que nous avons une licence, que nous conduisons, ou bien si nous avons 4 registrations, ça y aurait les voters registration. C'est soit nous avons une dans chaque, ou bien nous avons 2 dans primaire, information ça que vous demandez nous. Donc, songez que le n'a rentré, le nous pour aller venir avec identification parents, et puis mener tout le monde ensemble avec nous, carte, acte de naissance tout le monde, et avec genre d'identification ça que nous sommes demandé nous pour le nous arriver pour pas gagner retard. I think I covered it. Okay, let's see what's next. So those are the things that they're gonna need in terms when they come in. Anything else you want to add?
There is one other thing. If they live with someone else, perhaps you're living with your parents or with a relative, they would need to bring an affidavit of residency, which just is a notarized statement saying that I am living with someone else and that you're going to be using their proofs of residency. So, for example, if you were living with your parents, you would use your parents' residency and the affidavit, and that can be picked up at the school board student assignment office.
Okay, so if the child, let's say the child comes from Haiti and is, well, not so much from Haiti, or if a child is here living with an aunt or an uncle.
Right.
So they would need an affidavit which is notarized.
Correct.
Right?
Now, that's if the aunt or uncle had custody, then we would need those custody papers.
Okay.
But if the whole family, like the child and their mom and dad, lived with an aunt or uncle or the grandparents, so then many of times then the electric bill is in the grandparents' name.
I see.
So in order to use those bills as proof of where they live, they would need that affidavit.
Okay.
But still the primary guardian has to register the child.
Okay. En cas que, comme nous connaissons parfois, il y a des parents qui vivent ensemble. En cas que, si ti moun nan habite dans Kailan, ensemble avec maman, papa, ma tante ou bien grand-mère, on nous dit que utilité qui dans Kailan, c'est sous nom grand-mère l'enculier ou bien grand-père là, ou bien quel que soit moun nan qui gen non utilité en sous liant. Moun qui responsable ti moun nan, moun qui gardien ti moun nan, qui responsable ti moun nan, l'État supposé gagner un affidavit qui dit que c'est lui-même qui responsable ti moun ça. Donc, la vini ensemble avec papier ça qui dit que c'est lui-même qui gardien et puis vini avec utilité sous nom moun nan kailan qui gagne utilité en sous nom. Okay. Anything else you want to add, Miss Karen? I know we have some time, so if there's anything else we want to discuss about the process, that would be great.
I think the process will be the most quick and efficient if just make sure you have everything. So before you come, make sure you have all the documentation. Make sure the parent is with the child. Make sure you bring the child, and we should get through the process really quickly.
Okay, so the first step, really, right now, because the registration begins February 11th, 12, 16, 17, and 18, is to go online and start the process. Get the certificate of eligibility, and then come in for registration with all those proof that we ask.
Right. First, you would start by doing the certificate of eligibility online.
Correct.
But at the same time, you can also make the appointment. So go ahead and do that and make your appointment. Then from there, you're going to come to your appointment with everything that we've talked about.
Okay. So the certificate, so it's printed. I believe you did say that. Once they do it and they become eligible, it gets printed right there.
It could take a few days to a week. They just have to check back to their email to see when it's ready, and then they would need to print it. And they need to make sure they apply for it and make their appointment so that they can be sure that it's approved and they have it before they come to their appointment. So it's not something that they could go on February 10th and apply for. They probably wouldn't have it on the 11th.
Oh, so they need to start it right now.
Right.
Okay.
And also being that they can make their appointment at the same time that they apply for their certificate, they can ensure that they know that they have an appointment and they're coming in to register for the public school program.
OK. C'est très important pour moun ka commencer poser en connait Jean nous s'entendait madame Cassie avec madame Karen so dit pour nous capable nous kan doit reler l'école là pour nous faire rendez-vous en connait parce que presque dans 2 semaines enregistrement va commencer. Mais si on montagne c'est 10 février ou bien peut-être 9 février ou aller sur computer ou aller faire application ou pas bien temps vraiment pour ta temps joindre certificat éligibilité que ti moun a besoin. Parce que Jean-Madame Cassie so dit, il prend presque 2 jours ou bien 1 semaine et vous supposez aller checker dans email pour voir que si état yo relé yo écrit yo dit que ti moun est éligible et que vous voyez certificat ba ou. Donc pour commencer, relé l'école là pour un rendez-vous, mettez rendez-vous, commencer process en kounya, aller online sou pas capable aller dans Early Learning Coalition qui dans 4204 dans Okeechobee Road dans Fort Pierce dans St Lucie County School Board là en trans 2 ou 5 en trans 2 ou bien 5 et puis vous avez un monde qui capable aider commencer process en connait pour à partir de 11 février ou capable gagner application en main certificat en amont pour capable remplir application pour petit ou pas perdre du temps et pas oublier porter tout genre de information ça que vous demandez vini avec ti moun nan avec identification parent vini avec preuve qui autorité utilité social sécurité card et preuve adresse en reçu qu'on paye caillou venir avec toute information ça pour poser un cabalé plus vite. Anything else, Ms. Cassie?
I think ultimately it sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
Really, it's not that much. It's just a process to follow. So
Okay.
don't, we don't want families to let the process scare them and be like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
We encourage them to call us if they have questions. If they need, if they don't speak English and they need someone in another language, we will connect them with a person who speaks their language. And ultimately, if they go online to the school board website, on our main page, we have a little box that says announcements, and they'll see voluntary pre-kindergarten registration starts in January. If they click on that, it will bring them to our pre-K page where they'll see registration. And if they click on their preferred language, it will open our flyer. And on the second page of our flyer, it has all these steps where they can kind of check off as they go. But ultimately just doing the first step, applying for the certificate, at the same time make their appointment. And then from there, it's just making sure you get your certificate and come into your appointment, and we'll do everything to help them from there.
It's just a matter of gathering all the information,
It
getting the
is.
papers together, go online. It shouldn't be as crazy if the steps are followed.
And we're here to
I know.
answer questions. They leave us a message, we call it back the same day most of the time.
Okay, sounds great. Comme Madame Cassie so dit, process là vraiment peut-être un parent capable de penser que c'est difficile, il y a un pile bagaille pour faire, mais vraiment j'en ai so dit et m'a répété là encore, c'est commencer process là connait. Chercher toute information et mettre en place, aller dans l'école là, dans computer, aller dans site l'école là, chercher langue que préférée et puis commencer process là connait pour certificat qu'a vinn joindre nous à temps parce que il capable prendre peut-être 4 à 5 jours pour capable joindre un certificat. Et puis qu'on y a on met aller dans Early Learning Coalition ou bien relé l'école là et puis on joindre monde si pas parler anglais ou joindre monde qui capable aider. Donc commencer process là, gain toute information en place pour le arriver qu'on y a pour ne pas gain retard. Mrs. Karen, anything else?
On the first page of the flyer, you're going to find a lot of interesting information on there that you might probably want to read through too. One of the qualifications is that you must live in the zone for which you're applying. So on the first page will be a list of the schools in each zone. We don't have VPK at every school, so you can look on the list and see within the zone where you live, by zip code, what schools are available in each zone.
Okay. Là aller dans site là, là on rentrer dans site l'école là côté que on va chercher pour programme VPK volontaire et programme kindergarten pour petit monde, ça nous les jardins d'enfants. On a besoin d'un flyer. Le nous arriver le nous la donner, n'a une série de bagages qui est important pour nous suivre. Gen zone côté ti moun nan rete c'est pas toute zone Jean madame Karen so dit qui gagne un programme VPK donc c'est pour garder dans qui zone côté rete ou même pour ouais que si programme VPK dans zone côté habiter pour capable appliquer pour ti moun. Anything else, Miss Cassie?
No, I guess it would be important for parents to understand too that although, if they do this process, it's not guaranteed that they get a seat. It depends, because we have the full day program funded through VPK and Title I, we have some guidelines through Title I that we have to follow when assigning the seats. So when they come in on the application, they'll number all the schools that we have VPK at in their zone, in their order of preference, from first to however many schools we have in that zone. And then based on the number of applicants and the different things that they'll fill out, application and the pre-academic screener, seats are assigned in the order of need as determined through the guidelines. So essentially, if we had way more applicants than we had seats for, there would be some people who did not get seats in the public school program, but that doesn't mean their child wouldn't be able to go to VPK. If their child didn't get a seat in our program, then they would be able to take their certificate back from us and go to a private provider preschool program that offers VPK, or they could look into Head Start. So there's many options. The public school isn't the only option for VPK.
Okay. Now, I know in terms of fees, so I know sometimes parents usually ask, this is something that they will also learn about for VPK, right?
Well, and that's where the public school, VPK is a 540-hour program, as Karen stated at the beginning, typically 3 hours a day in many models.
Okay.
That is free to all 4-year-olds in Florida.
Okay.
Beyond that, at the public school, it's funded through Title I, so there isn't a fee in our program, which is why we have the guidelines and why there could be the possibility of some people not getting
it.
Seats, depending on the number of applicants. But then Head Start, the same thing. They do have a qualification process, and theirs is a full day free of charge to the parents, but you have to apply and qualify. And then the private provider preschools is where they offer the 3 hours for free, and then some parents choose to pick up their kids after that, and they're home with them the rest of the day if the parents are home. Or that's where wraparound care is offered at the private provider, where it would be a fee, which is up to each provider of how much they charge.
That's with the private schools.
Preschools.
Okay, the private preschools. Okay. Comme nous soutenons Madame Cassi se dit, programme VPK encore, so nous soutenons, c'est un programme qui 540 heures de temps, 540 heures de temps qui baille pour Timon, son programme qui est gratis, que lié, 3 heures de temps, mais c'est pas tout, parfois, il y a place, mais parfois tout, il n'y a pas de place. Donc, en cas que si petit ou même ou t'as appliqué pour lui, c'est ça qui fait les bon pour commencer le processus en première, parce que il y a un nombre de places qui là, qui est pour tout le monde qui est éligible. Donc, en cas que si que petit ou pas ta participer, ou doit toujours prendre un certificat, aller dans l'autre en programme, il y a un programme qui Head Start là, et puis il y a un programme dans l'école privée auto qui compte gagner, et programme VPK ça pour tout le monde. Donc, son programme qui est gratuit, je nous dis, les 3 heures de temps, on doit aller prendre petit après 3 heures de temps la calia ensemble avec lui. Donc, il est bon comme si pour toujours commencer le processus dans Kounia, ou même, puis bonheur, je nous dis dans la langue panou, c'est grand matin, commencer le processus là en cas que ou même pour qu'il participer dans le programme VPK ça pour petit tout. Any contacts? Any numbers?
We do. On our flyer, if they go to the website, and our website is www.stlucieschools.org, that'll bring you to the main page. And on the main page, you'll see, as Cassie said, in the middle, the link to Voluntary Prekindergarten registration. Once you get to our flyer, all our contact information is on there.
Okay. Ms. Cassie?
If they wanted to call us, my phone number is 772-429-3945, and Karen's is 772-429-4634.
I think we have the numbers on the screen as well. So 4634 for Miss Karen. Okay. En cas que vous avez besoin de contacter l'école là, ou bien si vous avez besoin de contacter un spécialiste dans le programme VPK, vous êtes capable d'aller dans le site de l'école là qui c'est www.stluciepublicschool.org pour capable joindre information sur le programme VPK, programme Volontè Prekindergarten pour tout le monde. Si nous avons besoin de relais, deux spécialistes qui là ensemble avec nous aujourd'hui, qui parler du programme là, le numéro de téléphone Madame Cassie lui-même, c'est 429 772 429 39 45. 772 429 39 45. Si vous avez besoin de Madame Cassandra Dillard, c'est un numéro ça capable de joindre. Si que vous avez besoin de monde qui va parler anglais ensemble avec vous, bien, si vous avez besoin de parler créole, excusez-moi, ensemble avec vous, là va toujours chercher un monde qui peut aider ensemble avec information ça. Si vous avez besoin de Madame Karen Crosby lui-même, vous avez besoin de parler ensemble avec les deux informations que vous-même avez besoin, ou capable de dans 772 429 46 34. Relais dans 772 429 46 34. Encore nous dit premier step là, c'est aller dans le site de l'école là dans www.stluciepublicschool.org et puis pour information dans l'écran télévision pour nous capable commencer procès. Aller faire application et j'en nous se dit commencer à ramasser tout genre d'informations ça que vous demandez nous, identification ça que vous demandez nous pour nous porter dans l'école là. Donc, process va commencer en février, le 11 février, 12, 16, 17 avec 18. Donc, commencer procès en Kounia pour nous pas en retard, pour nous capables nous-mêmes jouer une chance pour nous enregistrer petit nous pour programme VPK. I know it sounds like it's a lot of information, but like you said, they have to gather everything. So I'm trying to emphasize so that they don't forget anything. So the day they come in, so that they don't have to go back home and get information and coming back again. So I think I covered pretty much, everything that the parents need to bring. This sounds like a great program, and it's very important, and I really thank you for coming to the show and sharing this information with the public. If there's anything I can do to help, you have my contacts, my email and number. Absolutely, I know one of those days, if I'm available, I don't mind. I'll probably be able to come in and help as well. So just let me know. Yeah, just let me know, and I'll check my schedule and see if I have some availability, and I'll come and help out.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Avant d'aller, nous profiter pour nous dire tout le monde bonne année 2016. Nous espérons que l'année ça a apporté un peu de succès dans la vie par nous, dans la vie de nous. Et nous remercier en St Lucie Public School qui jusqu'à présent a nos opportunités pour nous capables venir dans le programme ça chaque mois avec des invités qui portent des informations qui sont capables d'aider ou même ensemble avec petit tout. Nous espérons que l'information ça nous est valable pour nous-mêmes, ensemble avec famille. Et pas oublier, j'en ai dit, registration pour petit monde VPK va commencer très prochainement. Aller dans cette école là et enregistrer pour petit tout pour capable participer dans un gros programme VPK que St Lucie Public School gagne dans la communauté. Nous disons merci ou même qui te prend temps pour t'étendre des programmes. Nous espérons qu'on rejoigne nous pour l'autre émission de Sak Pase St Lucie. Au revoir.